Welcome to Eternal Virtuous.
Honestly, there's so much to talk about. But, anyways, guys, welcome to High School DxD Rant Part 2. There's so much I want to discuss in terms of just DxD as a whole. And honestly, I guess let's just start with House of Grimmery. Team Occult Research Club. Now, in the past, I did say that my favorite out of the House of Grimmery, in terms of just the Occult Research Club, my favorite was Akano. And she still is, to an extent. But, Ross Visa, Exnovia, a lot of great waifu contenders have entered the raffling. And they can definitely be top contenders for like best waifu in the series. And the series is still going too, and that's not even counting the light novels either. But in terms of just the Occult Research Club, I would say my number one would probably be Akano, number two would be Ross Visa, number three would be Exnovia, and probably my number four would probably be Rias. Now, well, actually no, because I did forget about Ravel Phoenix. I did forget about her. So let me do that again. So my first would be Akano, second would be Ross Visa, my third would actually be Ravel Phoenix, then fourth would be Exnovia, then fifth would be Rias. Now, I know some of you may be asking, why is Rias like the last person on the list? And I'll tell you why. It's because, another person did make this point clear that, we've seen too many, red-haired anime girls already. It's nothing special or distinct or unique. Even DB Geek even said the same thing about Rias, which I agreed with. She's an awesome character, don't get me wrong, but in terms of just her figure, it's something we've seen before, and I feel like Akano, trumps her in terms of just appearance and personality wise and character. Just all three criteria, I feel like she just is superior in general to her, and there's a reason for that. Now, there is the story so far though, it's going fantastic, and I can't wait for the next season of DxD to come out, because I'm going to be watching that, and it's going to be amazing. But in terms of just like characters, I feel like they need focus. I honestly I feel like the student council should have a lot more focus in terms of just in the story, because Sona and Rias, in the light novel, I won't say any spoilers, but it's a pivotal role, and I haven't even gotten to that point because my friend kind of spoiled it. But it's a very pivotal battle. It really does, and it shows just how awesome Sona is as the student council president, and also members of the student council also. Now, I know in the anime they're kind of regarded as like the B team, but they're really not. Like they're really a powerful, team. That's why they're the student council. Put respect on the student council. They're not just there for show. It's they're important. Because student council. Not just anyone can get in student council. Now for Sona, honestly, she's actually my favorite. Like character wise, she's my favorite. Just because when I started reading it, I really got the feel for her as a character. And plus, we both like chess, and she really is envious of Issei and Rias, which shocked me because I didn't think that she would be, but she's very envious of their relationship because deep down she wants to have a boyfriend also, someone that she can confide in besides her sister. And that really hit deep with me because I'm like, that's something I can relate to. And it just fleshed out her character because really Sona's kind of like the ice cold, even though her element is water, but her sister is all bubbly and cheery, and yet her element is ice. I think that's hilarious. It should probably be switched around. But, I mean, makes it work. in terms of just Sanji and Sona, like he doesn't have a chance, and I feel so bad for the guy because he's actually not bad. He's actually a decent dude, and his dragon gear, I feel like it's more powerful than what they have shown in the anime by far. I feel like it can do a lot more than what is shown. He just doesn't get screen time, at all. I mean, well, I won't say at all, but like he doesn't get enough time to showcase what he could possibly do. And it's sad because I feel like the whole student council would blow everybody away if they made like a mini series just focusing on the student council and what they do, and not so much following Rias. I feel like that would be a huge marketing point, in my opinion. I feel like that would be something unique and cool, and it would kind of, take us away from following Issei, because we already know what the deal is pretty much with the gang. So I mean, it would be a nice switch in perspective to have, focus on the student council and see what they do and what kind of adventures they get into, and just the bonding process, and see, the members and get to know them as much as we get to know the Occult Research Club. I feel like that would be a huge selling point, to be a nice tone and shift overall. The story will stay the same. It'll just be focusing on the student council and their perspective on things. Plus, we would get to focus more on Sona's family and her and Rias's friendship. It's hard to see it because it seems like it's like a friction. I mean, I don't know if that's just me, but that's kind of what it shows in the anime. Honestly, it shows like a friction. That's just me. I mean, when I first watched it, first and second time, I didn't really pay attention to it because I was 13 at the time, and I was like, oh my god, this is the most amazing anime I've ever seen. And it's one of them. It's a reason why there's like 4 or 5 seasons. It's a reason. And it's not because of ecchi. I know some of you are gonna say, oh no, it's because of breasts and boobs. No, the story actually progresses, and it's a unique and story that revolves around Christianity, angels, devils. It's very easy to sink your teeth into and just invest your time in. And I realize that, and it really invests your time into, and especially the characters and their development and such. And I know some people are going to be like, yeah, well, all the females fall in love with Issei and yada yada. Well, I mean, besides him being super perverted, he's a decent guy. Like, he'll go to the ends of the earth for you if you're his friend. And that is what kind of gravitates the girls to Issei, because he's a genuine guy. Besides, if you put aside his perversion, and that can be any guy in the world. Usually, it's like it's not bad to be perverted, because we have to be perverted somewhat. So I mean, it is what it is on that front. But overall, I feel like in terms of just, I feel like that would be a good selling point to have, maybe a mini series revolving around Sona and the student council. I feel like that would be awesome. It would be awesome. I feel like it would do really well. It would catch some people off guard because they only probably seen her a couple of times. But I feel like that would, people would actually get into that. They would actually kind of accept that and like it. It'd be just change. It'd be something different in terms of that. Now, for Rebel Phoenix, her progression has been going really well. Like, she was against Issei with Riser, and now she became his manager. And she's really developed, too, into a great leader and a manager. And I feel like she doesn't get enough screen time as well. And I feel like she's more powerful than what they show in the anime. I know she doesn't really fight, but, it's just she's a phoenix. The immortal bird. I can't do a phoenix screech. I wouldn't even do it anyway. It would be really bad. But, it's just, her family is prestigious. Like the Grimmy family. Probably, it'd probably be higher, honestly, because, Phoenix. But, that could be something else they can do, too, is discuss the hierarchy and the structure of which devil families are really on top. Because they really haven't gone over that. They really haven't really just have an episode dedicated to the structure of the underworld, basically, like the devil world. It'd be something cool to do. It'd be something cool to dive into and really pick apart and just learn. Because then I think that would be another selling point as well, and just learning just the structure of the world. and which devil families are considered like royalty or high rank, mid class, low. You know, things like that. It'd be cool to see. Now I know Grimmery would probably be one of the higher ones. Sona would probably be one of the higher ones too, because her family runs a medical clinic, basically, or medical hospital in the underworld, which I think is really cool too, because you know water heals. So I think that that's cool too. Phoenix probably almost the same thing, you know, with their Phoenix tiers. I feel like they'd be in the high class as well, which would be a no brainer. You know, her mom though looks stunning, like stunning when I first saw it. Like she looks absolutely stunning. I'm like the dad had really scored on that one. Like, but then it's a shame that Riser turned out to be a, you know, an asshole, a jerk in season 1. I'm like, how do you have a nice, decent mom like that, but yet you get a crappy son? But I mean, he changed anyway, so I mean, you know, the deal is done on that one. It's a no-brainer on that one. But Ross Weissa gets great character development, and at first, I didn't pay much mind to her because she was, you know, the Valkyrie and Odin. I thought, I'm like, yeah, that's cool, you know, that's cool and all. But I really didn't get into her character until much later when I started reading the light novel and I got to her arc, and it was amazing. It really showed. It's hilarious because there's many comparisons between me and her, and I'm like, as I'm going through it, I'm like, holy crap, we're very similar in some ways, and it just made me laugh, and it made me appreciate her character even more. And so I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And so I gravitated towards her character, and I gravitated towards her offensive and defensive magic, which I think is a huge advantage, even though she's a rook. I feel like she's not really a rook. I feel like she should be higher than that, honestly. Just because of her magic and her family and all of that. Like, she should be much higher than she is. But, you know, she'll get her time to shine, I'm sure, as the anime continues. I'm sure. And then there's something with Exnovia that will happen too. But I won't go too much into that because that's, you know, spoiler for people who haven't caught up to the light novel. But she does. Her character is slowly progressing really well as well. Like, she's becoming more mature and serious. Kind of like Sona. How she's very driven and serious and strict. That's kind of how Exnovia is. Especially, like, towards Issei as well. In terms of just her wanting him to have a baby with her. You know, it's just, you know, she's, you know, being more assertive and firm with that. And that's, you know, refreshing. You know, because, you know, like, all the girls want that, but she's, like, coming to him, like, being forward, like, you know, this is what I want. You're gonna give me what I want, you know, so, like that, basically. Who else? Azia's kind of the same, nothing major with her, I don't feel like. Konako, that's it, yeah. Konako, she's matured well. Her Sage Jutsu is really cool. Her sister's really a cool character. She was misunderstood when I first saw season 3. I did like her design. Like it was banging. I'm like, Jesus. And I know some of you are gonna probably ask, why isn't she on that list? Honestly, I couldn't really give you a good reason. I do really like her as a character, but she's kind of like on the honored mentions right now. I really do enjoy her character. I feel like that there's more to her than what's been shown, and I feel like that will get more focus maybe in the future sometime. But to me, she was there to develop Konako, and she really matured, and Konako started to use her Sage Jutsu. No, I'm not talking about Naruto. But, you know, it was really cool for her to get that development, and then her accepting her feelings for Issei. And she took the longest. Out of the whole entire cast, she took the longest. And I feel like that was the most paid off. Like, I felt like she kind of started to like him when Issei was teaching her how to swim in season 2. I felt like that was kind of her slowly realizing that, oh, he's not a complete pervert. He's a decent guy at heart, but, you know, behind the perversion. And I think that was her first time seeing that Issei would go out of his way to help his friends and not just be like, ooh, boobs and ass, you know, all that jazz. So to her, I think that was a huge stepping point in terms of her seeing Issei for who he really is as a character. Let me see. With Ravel, I guess I can talk about Ravel. she kind of fell in love with Issei during, his fight with Riser. She was impressed with his confidence and how he defeated her brother and all of that, and she kind of just, fell in love with, I guess, his dominance and charisma, I guess you could say. They didn't really go into depth with that. It's just, the next time he sees her, she just has a crush on him and all of that jazz. I feel like there's more to that, but they haven't really shown it, so I can't really elaborate on that. I guess it's because Riser, I guess, was so undefeated, and then, she didn't figure anybody can do it, and then he outclassed Issei during the rating game, and then he was utterly defeated, and then he comes back, and then just goes toe-to-toe with her brother and eventually beats him. I think that was because of that, too, that she saw him as a weakling, and then he was really not a weakling, so that sparks some attractiveness. So, I guess that's what it went to. I guess I can talk about Konoko's sister, I guess. Kuroka, I feel, they elaborated more on her character, and she actually killed her master to save her sister, which I thought was very nice and touching, and it shows that she does care about Konoko deeply, much more than she truly lets on, and that all she wants to do is make sure her sister's safe and protected and learns to use her abilities properly. And I feel like that was her character arc, and that's what she's there for, is to help Konoko realize her true potential, beside Rias and as a person, and develop. So I feel like she's in a good place in terms of, like, character wise. Let's see. Oh man, so many. I'm not really gonna talk on Anako. Dang it. Akano, because she's, it speaks for herself. If you wanted, season 2 and season 1, just they take care of her development, and it's, season 3 actually does it. So actually, yeah, let me talk about it because it'd be boring. Now, season 1, she's hinted that she kind of has, she's being playful with Issei. I don't think she had any feelings for him until after he saves Rias, and I guess she starts to see him as, oh, he's not just a perverted guy. He actually has a genuine heart. He saved Rias, all of this. He was beaten, like, badly, like, severely, and he came back and just took Rias away from the arranged marriage of Ryzen. And I think that caught her attention and say, oh, Issei's got, something like that, it definitely, like, sparked her interest, to say the least. And then, season 2 kicks off, and she's being more forward with her flirtations, and she's being more, seductive towards him. And then, towards the later half of it, she starts to genuinely have feelings for him when she shows him her devil heritage, her fallen angel heritage, and how she's, like, half fallen angel and half devil, or has a fallen angel wing and a devil wing, because she hated her fallen angel heritage. And when you go in depth with her mom, and how her dad didn't make it in time to save her mother, and she blamed him for her death, and it was really deep. I was like, wow, I didn't expect that kind of development for Akano, for how her character was portrayed, and it was really shocking when I first watched it. I was like, it flew over my head. Like, at that point, I was like, I didn't even, like, fully comprehend the depth that went into it until, like, the second and third time I watched it. I'm like, wow. I'm like, that's crazy. It really is crazy. And I didn't really fully think about that until later on. And when Issei says he doesn't care about all that, she truly develops genuine feelings for him at that moment, and she just wants to, push that relationship forward, and and it's smooth sailing from there. Now, my grievances with the series is that it seems like, okay, I guess I'll talk about with Rias. It seems like, it's like, I know that she knows that he's a pervert, and she tries to get him to be seductive to her, like, in the beginning. It's like, why? What? I know devils are seductive in general, maybe not as much as fallen angels, but, like, when I watched it, I'm like, why? I understand, he's a pervert, but I'm like, what was the purpose of that? Like, what was the purpose of that? And then when you get to the later half, when she wants to like give Issei her virginity, it's like, well, why? I'm like, it felt like during the couple episodes that was like a foreshadowing towards that, like that event happening, and I was just like, I was so confused. And then when she finally does it, I was like, why would you give your virginity to Issei? I mean, maybe it's because she started to gain feelings with him as season 1 progressed. But, like, that was, like, a huge jump. Like, it was a huge jump. And I know that she knows that he likes her, but still, like, that was, like, a huge, like, leap in terms of just, like, their relationship. And it was slowly being built. Like, being built brick by brick. And then she wants to do that, and then he's, like, conflicted at that point. Yeah, and who knows if it would have continued, or if he would have genuinely done it if Lucifer's wife came in, or maid, didn't stop them. It really goes in perspective on that, and would he have actually taken it if she did it? From then, I mean, Reese just seems too. I don't know if it's me, but it seems like she's arrogant. I'm not sure. I mean, I understand because she's in the House of Grimmery, but I guess when Issei died, technically, in season 3, when he was trying to take on Loki and hold the Mjolnir, I was like, it felt very underwhelming to me. I don't know if it was like that for you guys, but I felt underwhelmed, man. Like, I don't know why exactly. Like, the emotions were there, the tension was there, but I felt underwhelmed by it. Like, I was like, the only genuine emotion I got out of it was seeing like Akano and everyone else do it, but then Rias was like, she was completely taken out of like the battle, and it seemed like she was gonna like do like a suicide move at the end. I felt like, and I'm like, why are you going to do that when you have the rest of your members? I don't know. I guess that's how I interpreted it, but it was just weird. Like, I know at that point all the girls were falling for him, and Rias, she sees herself as the number 1 because Issei, but I don't know. Like, that whole moment just felt underwhelmed. Like, I felt more emotion in the light novel when it happened. Like, that was done like 1,000 times better in terms of just the moment, and it was just like, wow. Any other ones? Yeah, Ozzy in the beginning, she was annoying a little bit. I didn't understand until later on, and I'm like, she's not a bad character. She's like my friend. She's like my friend in real life. He's like really big on church and Christ and God. So when I saw her, I kind of put like she's the female version of my friend, and it was hilarious. I would always laugh at the stupidest stuff because I would always picture him as her, or the female version of him on her, and it was just hilarious. It would have me dying. I'm laughing right now because I'm picturing it, but I don't know. I feel like Ozzy is not really too forward with her feelings. I know she gets better later on, but like, I know, it seems like her falling for Issei was like academic at that point. It was gonna happen regardless. It was gonna happen. So it wasn't like a shocker that was gonna happen. Honestly, I saw it coming, like when it was first introduced, and like the whole when it started going to the fallen angel thing with Rainier and all that jazz. A cool theory that me and my friend came up with, I said imagine if like Issei didn't get killed by like Rainier, or something happened on the date where she decided not to kill him, but like use him and like draw him to the fallen angels. Like, that would be a cool like side, not a side story, but like an alternative story. Like, just imagine that, like Issei and Rainier, like Rainier is his like first, and then the other girl, and then the lolly third fallen angel, and then he's serving under Kabuki or whoever that villain was. I can't even pronounce his name. But just imagine that. That would actually be an interesting story where he's actually the villain. and then he faces Valley. Like that interaction would be cool. It would be like it'd be like a cool like twist on that. And then he goes up against Rias and the Occult Research Club and the Student Council. I feel like that would be a badass, awesome like alternate story, like an alternate reality that they could do. I feel like that would be cool. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like that would be like a unique spin on it. Like if we're the alternate universe or alternate dimension in the DxD universe, and you see Issei side with the fallen angels, I feel like that would be cool. I feel like that would really be cool. Any more? Rose Weitza, at first she was a bit whiny when she first joined the Occult Research Club. It was like she was always like bitching and whining and complaining about Odin left her. And I'm just like, I get it, because she was his bodyguard and all of that jazz. But she gets over it, and her dream is to open up a Devil Valkyrie school. And I felt like that was cool. It was, I felt like that was cool. It was mirroring kind of Sona's, dream of her wanting to open a school for devils where rank and hierarchy doesn't even matter. Like, you can come in as you are and you won't be like mistreated or put above everybody else, and that class and ratings don't matter. And I feel like that was a really, really commendable goal, and it made me drawn to Sona more as a character, even though she doesn't get a whole lot of screen time to showcase her character really. What this character though, this character like gave me a serious migraine. Like I was just like Jesus Christ. and that's like Jasper, man. I don't know what in God's name made the author put him in it. He gets better. Like I'm not going to lie to you guys. He does get better, but like in the beginning, I'm like, why are you introducing a trap? Why? He looks like. When I first watched, I'm like, this. At first, I thought it was a girl, but then when I watched it the second time, I'm like, this is a dude, a dude. I'm like, why? Why introduce it? I'm like, it's already weird with Kiba. It's already weird because Kiba probably has a thing for Issei. I don't even want to even think about it. I don't even know. I don't know. Like, Kiba's a great character, don't get me wrong, but I'm just like, it's just weird, man. Like, it just makes me rub my temples, man. It's like, why? I understand he needs to have guy friends in there, someone he can talk to, relate to, but like when I first saw it in season 2 where Kiba's kind of like professing his love almost, I'm like, oh my god, it was a long day for me. A long day. Now I know Issei kind of treats Jasper like a little brother in a sense. I know he's family sacred vampire and all that jazz, but I was just like, oh my god. I was like, Jesus Christ. Lord have mercy. Anybody else? I can't really think of anybody right now. It's like my brain. Anybody else I got on my nerves? Oh, yeah. That one girl that teases Issei Monohamura and his buddies, his perverted Three Stooges buddies. She pisses me off because it's like she because Issei and his boys remind me of how me and my friends are kind of like, we get into antics and stupid crap and we just say stupid stuff to ourselves and we just laugh and have a good time, and then she comes in and just says some snarky shit or whatever. But I feel like she likes one of them. That's just me. I feel like that. Like, she's a pervert too, but I don't know. Like, a part of me, my friend actually said that she might be like a devil or something, and I'm like, at first I'm like, no, there ain't no way, but I started watching how she is, and it's a possibility. I honestly started to believe it. I'm like, she could be like undercover or something, just there to watch Issei or monitor the student council or occult research club or whatever. But I don't think she is. I don't think she is. But it was a cool side of theory because her character acted very strange and weird. So it was like it was something that I was like, what, he might be right on that. He might be right on that. I was thinking, but what else? Oh yeah. How could I forget that? When I first watched the rating game, I thought it was cool, but I mean, Issei, I got no problem with Issei. He's my boy. He's my boy. But Jesus Christ, I mean, the dress break was. I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong, but it was so overused. It really was. I'm like, why even have that as a main attack? It does shit. The girls should not be embarrassed or naked. They should kick his ass. Theoretically, they should kick his ass even more so. Just because they're naked doesn't mean, oh, my powers are negated. You can't do nothing. They act like that. I understand girls are embarrassed and they gotta cover their private part and all that jazz, but still, like, bro, it's like it's not doing physical damage. The only thing that's doing is ripping your clothes off. And I was just like, I'm like, come on, man, that don't make no dang sense. And then, what else doesn't make no sense when Riser was kind of like groping, what was her name? Like the witch in his harem, if you want to call it that, and his parrot in front of Issei. I'm like, what is the point, dude? You want to get married to Rias, yet you want to grope one of your parents. Like what? Like that doesn't make sense. I mean, that's just the nitpicks that I found in it. I'm like, it doesn't make a damn lick of sense. No sense. And then during the rating game, everything was going according to plan, and then Konako gets eliminated. They don't even show how Akano got eliminated. She just got hit with attack, and then she's supposed to be even with her, and then attacked. And then they show, I used the Phoenix tier when Akano technically beat me, and I revived myself and I beat her. And I'm like, okay. And so, Issei boosting, it's cool and all. But I felt like he should have had more damage when he kept boosting so much. When he was the last one and he was trying to defeat Riser, go toe-to-toe with him. I felt like he should have had more like repercussions for like boosting so much for his like power level and how his body, he vomited blood, like I'll give him that, but I feel like he should have like been taken out completely, like incapacitated, because like at that point he wasn't high enough to endure all of that. I mean it's probably because of Rias' training, and then the moment he did it, and then the drawbacks didn't come in until that final moment where it just suddenly just zaps his strength, and then that's it. But like I felt like at that point he should have just been completely incapacitated. He shouldn't have been able to stand and get his ass beat. He should have just been done. Like he was probably most likely he exhausted all of his magic, all of his power, and he was done. Like he was done. And then it should have came down to a fight between Rias and Riser. But then then most people will say, well, then Rias wouldn't have wouldn't have a reason to give up. Which you're right. I'll give you that. But in that case, it should have just came down to it should have came down to that, maybe Rias could have fought Riser for a while, because then she still had Azia, who was healing, and then if she would have distracted Riser, she could have somewhat healed Issei, and he could have somewhat got back in the fight, somewhat, but I don't know, that's just what I thought. Because Riser still had his queen and he still had his queen and all of that. So, I mean, it probably wouldn't have worked because she would have just nuked Azia the moment she would have tried to do that. So, yeah, that that would have been an epic fail on that part. So, you got me on that one. I guess at the end when Grafia, there we go. Now I remember her name. That Grafia tells Issei about Rias getting married, and he completely flips shit. And I'm like, you shouldn't feel bad because technically you gave it your all, you did what you could, but like you weren't gonna really do nothing to Riser. Let's just be honest on that one. He wasn't really gonna do much. Now when he got the scale mail, now we're talking. Now you're on an even playing field. Now we're talking. But it gave him the proper motivations to crash it. And I guess that I felt like it was too easy for him to get into it. But then again, Greyfit gave him a pass to it. So, I'll let that go. I'm like, But it just seems like after that, oh yeah, and the fight between Issei and Valley was, I felt like that was underwhelming and anticlimactic. Also, I felt like that could have been a much better fight. Like I felt like when I watched it, I felt like it should have been like to like the death almost, like because they hyped it up so much since season 1 about the red dragon meeting the white dragon. They hyped it up too in season 2, and then it's just like the whole thing just felt underwhelming. And like Issei won because he was thinking about Rias's boobs, and I'm like, when I first watched it when I was 13, I was like, yeah, awesome, Issei powers up. But then when I watch it when I'm an adult, I'm like, so cheesy. I'm like, he shouldn't have been thinking about that. The only reason he won because he didn't want Rias's boobs to get smaller. I'm like, what? I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, that fight should have been like to the death almost. Should have been brutal and intense and everything in between. But it wasn't. It was very anticlimactic. And I'm like, come on, man. They were hyping up Valor, and he's supposed to be godlike, and his power is supposed to be godlike. And I'm like, God. It was just, I felt like DxD went after season 2, it completely went off. I'll say season 2 and season 3, it went off the rails, man. Like the train just went off the tracks, just fell off the tracks, and just is now going steeply down. But that's all I got for you guys. That's all I could think of. I didn't take any notes or anything, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm glad I got this video out to you guys because I working 2 jobs. I was like, at my second job, I was like, oh God, I didn't want to, I wanted to get this DxD rant video out, part 2 for you guys. Because I did say it on my last video for the Akame Got Killed, did Tatsumi Love Leone. And then next time I'll actually come out with, which one was I going to do? I'm going to leave that for a surprise for you guys. I'm not going to spoil it. It's actually going to be a real cool topic I'm going to discuss, and I can't wait to actually discuss it with you guys. But anyways, I'll see you guys later, and as always, guys, remember, stay virtuous.